everyone. So I hope you're all doing okay. I thought I'd take the opportunity to do another video. I thought it might be quite helpful today to go through different techniques in cleansing your oracle cards or tarot decks. There's so many different methods and I'm going to go through 10 different methods today. So hopefully this will help you with your tarot and oracle card journey, so you know ways of which you can cleanse your space but also look after your decks. Okay, so I'm going to be using my new tarot deck, the Muse Tarot, today, just to kind of give the demonstration. So very excited about this deck. It's a new one by Chris-Anne Donnelly, who also did the Lightseers Tarot, and I really connected with it straight away. Love the energy of the cards, and they're quite eclectic, and I feel very creative in the energy that they hold, and they're very quirky, which I really like. So the imagery is really cool. Just to give you a little example, that's the Lovers card. It's really beautiful. This is Justice. So it's like lots of different layers, which I think is really exciting. Like Page of Inspiration. Like, look at her rainbow hair. I just think it's so cool. And the backs are even really pretty as well, look. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the way that I clear a deck every time I do a reading. So there are lots of things that you can do to cleanse your space, and I will be going through those because you can use those methods to clear your deck as well. First and foremost, I have to say that the most important thing when using any oracle cards or tarot is your intention setting. So any deck should be used with it in mind that it needs to be for the greatest good of all. And you know, before you start working with the cards, take them out of your box, get yourself into stillness, even in prayer position if you feel comfortable. And this is the time that you call upon all your guides, so your angels, your spirit guides, your ancestors, any other beings of highest light that you wish to work with, to give you the most profound, compassionate and healing reading. So you do that first, and then the way that I cleanse the deck is that first of all I hold it fanned out in front of my chest, so around my heart chakra, and I just fall into stillness, and again ask my guides for their assistance in coming forward and ensuring that the messages received are for the greatest good. And then what I do is I put the cards in a pile like this, and I hold them with my left hand, so that's my non-dominant hand. So if you're left-handed, hold them with your right hand, with the pile, the cards face down. Okay, so, and then what I do is I knock the top of the pile. So this is to knock any negative energy or resonance that may be holding on to the cards. And then what I do is I turn them over and I touch each one as if I'm saying hello to the card. This is just to basically touch the deck with my energy, so that you and the deck are as one. I just quickly go through like that. So if it's an oracle card deck, it will take less time, but with tarot, because there's 78, sometimes 79 cards, it takes a little bit longer, but it is important that you touch each card with your energy. And if you are doing readings for others, as long as they're not touching your cards, you only need to do this once because it's you and your energy working with them. If other people are touching your cards, then you may want to clear the deck every time somebody's touched them. It's down to personal preference really. So once you've done that, you're then able to shuffle the cards. And so this is when you ask silently or out loud your question. And again, this just helps to energize the cards ready to do the reading. Okay, and this is when you would either, as you're shuffling, if a card jumps out, then you take that as your message, or you could fan out in your hand and pick a card you're drawn to. For example, this one, which is the Chariot, which is an awesome card. Look at this. Look at the horses beneath her there. So the Chariot is associated with the star sign Cancer. So it's also associated with the element of water. It's about travel, it's about change, and it's about change that's coming into your life fast. With this card, I feel like you see the light that's coming out of her. It's like she's got that reignition, that passion to drive her forward, and the horses are pulling her forward. So she has no choice but to go along for the ride and to hold on tight, because things are going into action very, very quickly. So it's quite an exciting card, a card of movement. Not just travel to different places, but travel within, so an inner journey. So moving on to a new stage of your life, which is really exciting. So that just kind of gives you an example of how to do a reading. The other way is you can fan them out in front of you and then pick a card that way. Or obviously do more complicated spreads if you feel that you want to engage. So that's the first option. So again, the most important thing is setting the intention that you use the cards for the highest good. Lots of people ask me, do I need to wrap my cards in silk? Do I need to contain them in a tarot satin bag or a box? And my advice is that they're fine in their box. I've got a big trunk full of different card decks and I leave them all in their boxes, so I don't bother wrapping them in silk or put them in bags. But if you want to do that, that's entirely up to you. Someone else also asked me whether you should sleep with your cards. Well, I don't do that either, but if you want to, you can. You might want to pick a card and put it under your pillow if it's something that you kind of want to explore further during dream time. I wouldn't kind of, worry about doing that, but your actual whole deck could be quite an uncomfortable sleep for you with a pile under your pillow. So it's up to you though, whatever you feel is appropriate. So that was method 1. Method 2. So method 2 is turning cards face up. So if you're someone that works with tarot and you work with reversals as well, so basically what that means is if you shuffle the cards and you don't just read them this way up, but you face them, so you pick them and they're reverse way up. I personally don't work with reversals. I've just found there isn't a need to personally, but each to their own. You are able to do that and you might get another insight into using cards in reverse. What I would say is that normally with reversals, it's just a more kind of shadow aspect of the reading, but you're welcome to try using reversals. But basically with this method, turning cards up, it's just a matter of going through your pile of tarot cards, and then any that are face or reversed the other way, you sort of separate them from the pile which are the normal way up. So just have them lying down with the images up and go through the whole deck like that. And basically once you've got through the whole deck and you've sorted them into piles with the images up, and you can just leave them for however long you think is necessary, just for a good while for them to kind of rest, I suppose. I think it's more working cards to enable them to have a rest with this method. Okay, method number 3 is working with crystals. So I'm sure quite a few of you love crystals. Well, crystals are a great way of cleansing cards as well. So one of the best crystals to work with is selenite. So the reason for using selenite is basically it's a crystal that doesn't need cleansing in the usual way because it cleanses itself. So what's so magic about selenite is you can actually use it to cleanse other crystals as well. So quite often if you get a new crystal, your supplier might pop a tiny bit of selenite in there to keep the crystals charged. And then what you do is you just place the selenite crystal on top of your deck and leave that for a little bit until you feel that the cards have had enough time to rest, and it will re-energise the card deck for you. The other way is to use quartz. So quartz is the master healer, so very, very good at cleansing the cards. And you know, you can use, like this for example is more of a wand, so you can sort of direct the intent at the cards to cleanse them, and you can just hold it there for however long you feel is necessary until you feel the deck is cleansed. And I've got a lovely little quartz angel here. So again, I can just pop it on top of the cards like so and just let them rest for a little while. So quartz and selenite are the best. I've also got a selenite horn here as well, unicorn horn. So again, use like a wand, direct it downwards, direct the energy of the crystal into the cards. So if anybody is interested in working with crystals, I'd recommend getting a selenite plate. So it just means you can easily cleanse your crystals. So it's just a matter of putting a crystal on top of the selenite plate and leaving it for a while to recharge. In order to ground yourself in readings, it's always really good to work with grounding crystals like tiger's eye or black obsidian. So dark crystals are really good for protection and grounding. So things like tourmaline, black obsidian, jet, onyx, they're all very good. And tiger's eye as well is great for grounding. Because obviously when you're doing readings, you're connecting with the higher realms, so it's really good to kind of keep you down to earth, as you're very much in your head and in your crown chakra when you're doing this work. So the other crystals that I find that are great for doing readings with are opalite, celestite, and aura quartz, angel aura quartz. So the reason for this is that they are all crystals that are associated with the angelic realms, the higher realms. So it helps with your connection to the angels or the unicorns. So this one's really pretty. It's like a rose quartz angel aura. It's got like a rainbow sheen through it. And then that's celestite's like a baby blue, really gentle energies these. And the opalite, which is really pretty as well. I've got an opalite angel here to show you. And this is the celestite, but in raw form. Look how it sparkles. And if you like working with wands, then amethyst is another great one. Just all round good at banishing any kind of stress. Very good for relaxation, peace and centering yourself. Okay. The other way in which you can cleanse your crystals is to pop them in a cathedral like this. So this is a miniature version. You can get absolutely huge versions of cathedrals, but it's just a matter of popping them in here like this to recharge them. And if it's full moon, you could leave that on your windowsill so the crystals can recharge. Okay. So on the subject of crystals, if you are needing to source any more at all for your own collections, then my dear friend Michelle Higgins, Natural and Unique on Facebook, she does supply some of the most amazing crystals, so do please check her page out if you fancy adding to your collection. So the next way to cleanse your decks is by using the pendulum. So this is method 4. Okay, so I don't know whether any of you have tried dowsing before. This is working with a pendulum. Okay, so basically with dowsing, again, it's all about setting the intention, quieting the mind, and asking the pendulum for showing you what's yes. So what's yes? So yes is a big clockwise movement. Can you see that? Okay. And then you ask the pendulum, show me no. What's no? No. Show me no. So no is back and forth. Okay. So horizontally going from one side to the other. Okay. And with cleansing your deck with a pendulum, what you need to do is hold the pendulum above the deck of cards and just hold it there until it stops moving. And basically, once it stops moving, that means that it's cleansed. Okay, so you just hold it for as long as the pendulum feels like you need to. So that didn't take very long, but that's because I've been cleansing the deck in many ways previously. That just kind of gives you a demonstration. So pendulum work, dowsing is really good for yes/no answers. So you can ask the pendulum questions. So feel free to have a go with that. So method number 5 is working with liquid sprays. So this is an angel sage spray. I use these quite a lot. So I got this one from Holistic Shop on the internet. Great supplier for all things spiritual. What I love about sage sprays is that it doesn't cause any mess, and it's quite a quick method to cleanse your space. So, you know, with crystals, cleansing your space, you could do a crystal grid. Angel sage spray, you could spray it around the room of which you're working in to give your reading. But cleansing your deck, it's just simply spraying it over the deck like this. Okay, sage is really, really good for cleansing. And what I would say with the sage sprays, if you can't source them, you could always try making one for yourself. So it would be a matter of finding yourself a spray bottle, one that's probably big enough for a small quartz crystal that you can pop in there in the bottom, and then put maybe a couple of drops of vodka in there. That's to basically preserve it, and then fill it with water and pop some sage in there and maybe some lavender, so you could use essential oils for that, and then shake it with the lid on. But you need to shake it every time you spray, and the vodka is just to preserve the liquid so it lasts longer and doesn't go off. You could, if you haven't got oils, you could actually get fresh sage and lavender from the garden and use a pestle and mortar and pop it in there. It'd work exactly the same. So you could always give that a try. Okay, so the next method is smudging. So I've actually got an incense stick on the go at the moment. So you can see the smoke here. So basically this is cleansing your cards through smoke. So the method is basically holding your cards above the smoke like this to cleanse them, okay? And again, it's just setting the intention, but you want the cards above the smoke and above basically the flame so they don't burn. Now with incense sticks, obviously sage is a great one, and just make sure you've got something that the incense stick can let the ash fall into as well so it doesn't make a mess. This particular incense is this one, which is Michael Angel of Protection. So it's a protection incense, and I got this one from Holistic Shop as well. And they do a variety of different ones. There's Michael for protection, Gabriel for hope, Uriel for conscious, Haniel for trust, Chamiel for harmony, Raphael for health, and Metatron for universal love. So there's different ones associated with different archangels, but protection's great because that's what you want to do. You want to protect your cards, you want to protect the space. So you can use incense to cleanse your space by having an incense stick burning. The other way you can use the smudging technique is, so my dear friend Charlie at Blackbird Oak, she made me some cleanse incense. Just a sample because she's seeing whether it's actually effective, but it's amazing stuff. So I've got a charcoal, piece of charcoal on here, and some of her incense, homemade incense here. So you don't need the charcoal. If I'm being honest, if you're just using the method to cleanse cards, then lighting this little bit of incense here would give you enough smoke to be able to do that. But if you're using it for fragrance or clearing the space, then use a charcoal disc, because that will mean that it burns for a lot longer. The other option is using a smudge stick. So very traditional with Native American culture. You light the smudge stick, and again, when the smudge stick is alight, just make sure you're holding it over a heat-proof dish to let the ash fall into there, but then hold the cards over the smoke. The other thing you could have is a bowl of water, so it just catches the embers as they fall from the smudge stick. I've got this shell here, which is really useful for smudging, so you could always do that, especially if you're near the beach and you've got a collection of seashells big enough for that method. Okay, so the next method I'm going to talk to you about, so which one is this? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, yeah. So the 7th method is Reiki. So for anybody that is Reiki qualified, this is the Japanese energy healing technique, and it's basically the ability to work as a channel for universal energy to flow through you. You work as the vessel in order to be able to pass healing on to the person that needs the healing, or the plant or the animal. Or even you can use Reiki for cleansing food and drink by holding, you know, the sides of the bowl, setting the intention to channel the Reiki into it. Or obviously the same with a mug of tea before drinking it. You could do it for water as well, so holding a glass of water, setting the intention to cleanse the water with Reiki energy. So there's a couple of methods when working with Reiki that you can use for cleansing your deck. So you can either put them between your hands like this in a sandwich, and just, if you use the symbols, then I would suggest using Chokurei, which is the power symbol. So you can either imagine that in your mind or draw it on the roof of your mouth with your tongue, or just scribble the Chokerei symbol on a piece of paper and put it on top of the cards and then hold the cards. Alternatively, you might have the crystals with the Reiki symbols on. You can get those and you can put the Chokerei symbol on top of the cards that way and hold them and cleanse them that way. The other option is putting the cards down and then doing that. And just do it for as long as you feel is appropriate. Or you could fan them out and do it that way. So not everybody does hands-on Reiki. Some people prefer doing it above, so hovering above. So you could do it by hovering your hands above, setting the intention for the Reiki to channel through your hands, and just feel for any kind of coolness, because it might mean that that particular part of the deck needs further cleansing. Okay, so it's just about working intuitively and what feels right for you. Okay, so number 8 then. So number 8 is sunlight. So again, it's not absolutely crucial, but I personally would use a quartz crystal and pop it on top of your deck of cards and just put it out in sunlight. And the reason for this, just the quartz crystal helps amplify that sunlight. So it receives the sunlight and then obviously helps to move that through into the cards to cleanse the deck, but you don't need to use the crystal. It's down to personal preference. I prefer using crystals, but it's entirely up to you. You might want to leave them on a nice sunny day on your table in the garden for an hour, whatever feels right to you, just so long as they can get the sunlight. Obviously, if it's a rainy day, I wouldn't suggest putting them outside, but you could put them on the windowsill inside your house. The next technique is, so this is number 9, moonlight. So especially at times of the full moon, the new moon, it's great to be able to do it at times when the moon is full or it's a new moon, because you're honouring the phases of the moon cycles. And especially full moon, that's when the moon is at its most powerful, its complete phase. And again, by using the quartz crystal, pop that on top of your deck of cards and leave them out on your windowsill, so that the moonlight can infuse your cards with its energy. Of course, what's so beautiful about the moon is that it's divine feminine energy too, so it'll give your cards that kind of motherly, nurturing healing that they so need. So you might want to try that at the full moon. And the last technique to cleanse your cards is sound. So I don't know whether many of you have attempted using sound, but the great thing about sound is that you can use it to cleanse your space before coordinating your reading, or you can use it to cleanse your deck. And ways in which you can do that are working with things like Tibetan singing bowls or shamanic drums. So shamanic drum energy is quite dense, and it wouldn't need very much in order to feel like the deck's been cleansed. So you could just do that. I mean, anybody that is into shamanic drumming, if you hold the drum up close to you and you drum it, you can really feel the vibration there. And you can do this around your room to cleanse the energy of the room, clear the energy before doing the reading. But yeah, there's no reason why you can't cleanse your cards as well with this method. It actually sounds different. Can you hear that? So my own energy very deep. And then the energy of the cards it's like a higher pitch, which is really, really interesting. So yes, feel free to use your shamanic drum. Any excuse to get your shamanic drum out. The other method is singing bowls. So I've got different ones here. So to demonstrate, I've got a higher pitch one here. This is a hand-beaten bowl. I'll show you the difference between hand-beaten and machine milled. So hand-beaten is very kind of rustic in its appearance, and the ridge is hardly ever permanently flat. Okay, and then this is a machine milled bowl. So with this one, look, can you see how there's an actual Buddha in there? And look at the hammered effect inside there, and on the side there. It's just a lot more polished in appearance. I mean, again, it's very much down to personal preference. I would say I prefer the sound of the hand beaten, but these are obviously very pretty and very decorative, so it's entirely up to you. In fact, this machine mill one came in this really lovely medicine Buddha box as well. I sourced this one from my dear friend Michelle Higgins at Natural and Unique. So as well as being a supplier in crystals, she also supplies singing bowls as well. So if that's something you're interested to do as well, please do get in touch with her. So I'm going to just chime these to show you. So again, just above the deck here. You could, so what I'd probably do actually is put the bowl here first and then strike it and hold the deck over the vibration of the sound there, okay? You see the hand-beaten bowl, it just chimes for so much longer as well, which I think kind of adds to that re-energizing of the deck and making sure that it's thoroughly cleansed for you. Still chiming now. Okay. And I'll show you the difference in the sound between the machine milled. It doesn't chime for as long, I find. But I find that they're easier to sing, the machine milled ones, because of the flat top of the bowl. Whereas, see, that one won't sing. It sounds amazing in terms of the chime. Try a deeper one. Ooh, like that one. Yeah, see, that one's singing. Again, if you've got the bowl singing, you can put the cards above the bowl. So yeah, generally I find these ones chime for longer, the hand beaten. See, that's still chiming now. And then obviously the machine milled. I mean, they both sound beautiful, but I find that the hand beaten. Sorry about that, there was a slight technical glitch, so just continuing the video, I was talking about Tibetan singing bowls and the fact that I prefer the sound of the hand beaten, but the machine milled are beautiful as well, so whichever is your preference. And feel free to use them to clear your space before working with your cards as well. It's a great way to clear the energy. And feel free to use your shamanic drum if you own one as well to do that. So smudging and sound are both great ways at clearing your space before working with your decks. And if you are interested in sound therapy, my best friend Joanne Gillibrand, who runs Tree of Life Holistics in Rugby, is a holistic therapist, meditation teacher, life coach and sound therapist. So she's actually going to be working on producing some meditation sound baths remotely so that you can enjoy from the comfort of your own home during this pandemic. So she's very much focusing her energies on that at the moment and producing some amazing material for you soon. So feel free to give her page a follow. If you have any questions about sound therapy and the different instruments, feel free to contact Jo. She is a font of all knowledge and she'd love to hear from you. And if you are interested in participating in one of her remote sound baths, do let her know. She'll be able to let you know when she's planning on launching the first one. And it's just an opportunity for you to really benefit from the healing vibration of sound. And it's time for you to relax, journey within, and it's great for the mind, body and spirit, and also great for your oracle tarot cards. So if you're participating, you might as well have your cards in the same space so they can benefit from the cleansing energy too through the sound that travels. As sound is energy, so if the intention is there to clear your deck, then the sound will reach your cards to do that. So yeah, that concludes the session for today. I hope it's been helpful and you try some of the techniques. I know there's a lot of information there, but I just wanted to give you as much information as I can about all the different processes that you can engage in, and it's just finding what's right for you. There's no right or wrong way, and it's always good to experiment. You might find a new technique that you haven't thought of before and you actually prefer it, so give it a go. Okay, great to check in with you all. I hope you're all okay and enjoying your Easter weekend. So continue to enjoy the sunshine that we're having, and we'll catch up very soon. Take care, bye.